Please be seated. I'll ask call the meeting over and ask the recorder, treasurer, and roll call.
Warren.
Here.
Bradley. Here. Hastings.
Here.
Lynn.
Here.
Crystal.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
This time I'll ask for a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Any other discussion? I'll ask for a roll call.
Warren.
Yes.
Bradley. Yes. Hastings.
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Crystal.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Had a chance to look over our minutes and our monthly financials. I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve them as presented.
Make a motion we approve the minutes. I'll second it.
Any other discussion? I'll ask for a roll call.
Warren.
Yes.
Bradley. Yes. Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Crystal.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
This will bring us down to the department head reports. Airport Commission, I don't see Jason Hayes with us. Talked to Alex Kinlan. He won't be here tonight. There's not a whole lot different going on except the broke ground for the new airport, new hangar, 100 by 100. It's right down here. They're working on the footing right now. That's going as planned. So don't know the status of the runway lighting or the new beacon, but I think it's all going along pretty good. Seems to be going pretty good. Questions on that?
What's that? The new hangar, is this going to be for more airplanes, or what?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're going to, so they can rent the hangars?
Well, Will Dawson's, or I think Tim's going to address that under zoning too.
What are they doing up here where they're leveling the dirt out?
I think they just took that dirt. I think they just leveled it out just to keep it from eroding.
Okay.
And they'll use that probably for dressing up this.
Okay.
Pretty good soil. Had a few people call and ask if we were going to get rid of it. You know, probably, but that's where they took the tank out, and they had to replace that with something B-stone or whatever they used. But it's fill, it's more like topsoil, pretty good dirt. Brings us down to animal control. I did not see Lori here. She's supposed to be here. Tim Pike had a doctor's appointment. He said he had 10 calls this last month, picked up 2 dogs and 1 cat, and I didn't get a report from Lori. I just assumed she'd be here. She may come in. She had plans to be here. Yeah, I think Lori had told me that she had a little bit of roof leaking problem, but nothing major. So, that brings anything on animal control. No, that brings us to fire department report. Chief D.L. Webb, who's a busy man here lately.
Been busy, everything's going good. Is that all right? We've been busy. We're doing our hydrant test. I'll take this off on 12 foot from y'all. We're started our hydrant test, our annual hydrant test. We did get the fire truck back, the ladder truck, got it fixed. Everything appears to be fine, and we got by a lot cheaper than I thought we would.
Good.
So we're back in business. We've had 2 vehicles that have hit gas meters in the last month. We've had a gas leak on Choctaw Lane last night, and I just got back from another gas leak out behind KFC in the strip mall. But everything appears to be fine, so I may end up getting a job at Centerpoint before it's over with. Still wondering about Halloween. We don't know what we're going to do. We've been getting questions about whether we're going to try to do trick-or-treating again this year. At this point, I'm not sure, so we'll kind of play that by ear. It's just been busy. I've done some fire inspections, especially with the COVID-19. A lot of the daycares have been wanting to make sure that they're in compliance. Done an inspection of the school to make sure they're in compliance with state and fire marshal. Everything appears to be fine right now. So if there's any questions I can answer, I'll be glad to try to answer.
If we don't have that scare on the square, what's going to happen? Are they just going to start trying to go up on the hill and trick or treat, or?
Well, I don't know. I'm looking at some options. Some other places are doing. Let's see, like what is it? Little Rock's
Boo at the Zoo.
Boo at the Zoo. They're not doing Boo at the Zoo. They're going to do a laser light show and have people just drive through the parking lot to see that. Others are doing like a drive-through where they can drive through their town. People can pass candy to them as they drive through. People stand out on the corner of the streets and just scare them, dress up in costumes, things like that. So I don't know. We're looking at different options, but right now, I don't know.
You got a little time to figure it out.
We got a little time. We'll figure something out.
What are you doing in your spare time?
Yeah.
Anything else from the fire department from Chief Webb? Thank you very much. Brings us down to Parks and Street Department report, Charles Wilson.
Cool, everything's going pretty good, I reckon. Grass is still growing like wildfire, but we'll eventually get caught up.
It's growing. You helped out over here to help every year with the fairgrounds, that much.
Yeah, I went and
Thank you.
helped do around a little bit. Yeah, I got a bunch of kids up there showing animals and stuff.
Yeah.
Make it as comfortable as we can for everybody. Like I said, we'll eventually get caught up here. It'll start snowing, then we'll be behind again.
Under Parks, seemed like the Rumble went well, Chuck Wagon fee went really well, got a few folks straining across the river, but
Yeah, it all went down.
everybody liked to fish, so good
Yeah.
job on cooking. And then I think other events, we have maybe the roadkill coming up in October.
Yeah,
third,
roadkill's coming up,
and a family day that Sunday. I think a Baptist organization wanting to come back the next day and rent the amphitheater and have some singing and stuff. So maybe a busy weekend.
could be, yeah, and chili cook-off's coming up too, pretty quick. So,
I know you're busy going, anyways, so.
keeping everything caught up.
So chili cook-off's still going, huh, and still?
As far as I know, I mean, everybody, we may have to scatter everybody out a little bit more, but I don't see it going on.
How many people were at the Rumble of the River?
A bunch. Several. Probably one of the biggest events that's been in the city park.
Everybody's busy.
It was a lot of bikes, a lot of motorcycles,
I saw a lot of
a
people
lot of
there
good
too.
people, a lot of good people.
A lot of people were primitive camping.
Yeah, probably 10 or 12.
I know, I saw a camper down there too.
Yeah, I was camped down there, so I didn't have to go
Oh, okay, because I was like, there wasn't primitive in a camper.
No, I was camping on Chuck Patel's property.
Okay.
I used my camper so I wouldn't have to drive back and forth to work, because, I mean, time you shut everything down, clean up, 1 o'clock in the morning, then you gotta get back up 5, 6 o'clock, make sure all the cones up and everything's,
Like he's working at the fair.
yeah, about the same.
Yeah, I just got a lot of compliments on the cooking of the fish.
I'm glad everybody liked it.
Really good.
Yeah, that's right. Real, that's all I have on that. And on streets, I know you catching up on mowing, and then also
Yeah, the
some of this
brush.
wind we had, we're able to pick up some of that.
Yeah, we're working on the brush. I had to get some stuff out of the creek and stuff today, so once we get some of our waterways cleared from brush, then we'll keep working at some of the houses. We'll eventually get it all picked up. It's gonna take us a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
short one person and I hired a new person, so I don't know, I've trained more people in the last 2 years than I ever have in my life.
Sure.
It seems to be hard to keep good employees.
Well, I've had somebody ask me last 2 months at least, and I said, you gotta remind me so I can ask, cause when are we gonna get the debris cleaned up that people set out on the side of the road at their own school?
We're working on it. I picked up a bunch this week. The backhoe broke down, been working on it all day, so, I mean, our equipment's getting wore out. It's 10, 12, 14 years old, and this stuff's been worked hard, and eventually we're either gonna have to fix it, or we're just gonna have to, everybody's gonna be even more patient, because we're gonna have to do it by hand, so, either way.
Storm's bad, through a lot of stuff, could have been worse, but.
Could have been a lot
It did give
worse.
us a window to pick up some stuff that
Yeah.
had been needed to pick up.
And, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there, it's not storm debris, but we're gonna get it all for this round.
Is our mulch pretty far down right now?
It's, pretty much gone. I mean, I've gotta do some more cleaning up before I can say it's all gone.
Right.
Get time to get over there and get it cleaned up and get all the big chunks out of it and get it windrowed is.
Okay.
So, once it cools off and the grass quits growing, maybe we can catch everything back up and get everything lined back up for the new year to start.
Charles, I thought that we had discussed this previously, like that we were only gonna have like 2 or 3 times a year where we were gonna pick up debris. So I know the storm has happened, and I've got this, probably the same calls you have about School Hill, but I think we need to get it clear in the city what when are we gonna do that, so that you don't have to go out all the time, every time there's a storm and everybody clears their property and expect the city to do it and then calls Dina 20 times a week.
No,
So,
it's just gonna
we
be-
kinda need to put a date and say, this is when it is, and we have 2 weeks to do it, or 3 weeks, and then you're on your own to clear up your own land. If a tree, you know what I mean? So
Or-
that the city doesn't have to do that.
Or are you talking like once a month or something?
Hey, I don't think he can do it once a month. He doesn't have help to
You
do
can
that.
only.
Well, we kinda got to the point where we were a lawn care service.
Yes,
I mean,
and
we
people that
got
don't have
to the
trees on
point-
their yard.
And the people that have the brush are the exact same people just about every time.
Mhm.
Like the same stops at the exact same
I
time.
thought we had discussed that, remind me.
But, I mean, this windstorm, there's a lot of trees and a lot of debris that fell, a lot of limbs blowed off of trees, little limbs and stuff, so we're just gonna get everybody, like I said, they'll just have to be patient. We'll make a run through, I'll eventually get them all. I mean, I'm trying to run a backhoe on a dump truck by myself. And in between time, I get somebody to pull off of this and come and help me, so everybody will just have to be patient, but we'll get to them. Just be patient and we'll get them cleaned up and then we'll wait for the next windstorm. It's coming, it's maybe a high storm this year.
So that.
So we want
we told
an
that
ad in the
we said
paper
2 or 3
that
times a
says,
year.
hey, you know, we need to do something, but, I mean, maybe like, I mean, I know we have talked about it multiple times, and maybe that's the whole deal, that people just think, well, if I put it out here, they'll pick it up sometime.
Yeah, eventually I get it, but a lot of times I have to mow around it for about 2 or 3 months.
So, you know, maybe we pick up once a quarter.
Could be, I mean, well, then you really can't set a date, cause I have no idea
Once-
what I'm gonna be doing.
Sure.
I may be stressed out doing something else, setting tiles or mowing or doing something, so it's really hard to set a date. Everybody just has to be patient and just.
You can only pick up X amount,
Yeah.
and that's due to a storm, you only have so much mulch.
I believe we had, people bringing brush into the city and
Yeah.
dumping it.
Yeah, at one time,
Yeah,
yeah. I really did.
that's when we put it in the paper, we picking it up.
Yeah.
Now, aren't you requiring them to like cut it certain lengths and stack it in a certain way so it's
Yeah,
easy to
but,
pick up?
nobody's gonna do it.
Well, it'll just stay there. I mean, that's what you should do. I mean, it should-
Yeah, it's hard for me to do. I mean, when I drive through my city and see brush piles and stuff, I just can't hardly stand it.
I mean, if they've been calling for 2 or 3 weeks and when you get there, they haven't got it stacked and put like it should be, it's on them. I would-
Never happens to me when I pick that up.
I mean, I take care of my own stuff, but if I was gonna ask you to come get my brush, I'd have it stacked neatly like you want me to do it and set out the way you want to. You know?
Yeah, but it's hard to get people to do that. And like I said, after I get tired of looking at it, I'll get it.
Just do the best you can,
Yeah.
and just don't get too much mulch. I think we've got, most of that, my question is, we've not got too much for.
No, we've got it.
Half.
We've got it knocked down. I mean, everybody put in a garden this year.
Some of these
That
people
was
too
awesome.
may want that mulch, we talked about mulching in place, you know,
Yeah.
if they want the land or if they don't want it right there.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants it right there, I can grind it right there, which
There's
is.
a couple of people that's
really
already done, that helps.
Yes. So, but
If
like I
that's the case, I
said.
got some stuff you can come to my house and mulch. I got a lot, and I like to mulch. And I'd rather mulch from my own place, that way I don't get ants.
Yeah. But I mean, we're just here to help everybody that we can help, but everybody's just gotta be patient. I know everybody's calling and you just gotta tell them, you just gotta be patient. I mean, we're probably one of the smaller crews that run the street department, Parks and Rec department like we've got. I think Shirley's even got more people than I have.
Have they, you heard anything from the water department on redoing the road?
No. I'm about to get tired of looking at that. I'm fixing to start scratching them out and calling concrete people and fix them up and then just send them the bill. They've got just a few more days and then I'm fixing to get hooked up on that next week. I'll go scratch them out and call a contractor to come fill
Is
them
that
up.
at School Hill?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm tired of waiting.
Got a
on
couple
people.
calls on that one too. Mhm.
Tired of waiting on people, so I'm fixing to just call some concreters and just get it done. And then just send them the bill, and then we'll hash that out afterwards.
Anything else for Charles? Thank you. Well, that brings us to police, report, Chief John Willoughby.
Oops, back
Well, we've had a pretty busy, month. We had, I think it was 143 extra patrols. We've assisted, other agencies 5 times this month. We wrote 103 citations and 4 warnings. And Jay opened up 3 new investigations. He closed 6. And I think we did a couple of affidavits for some felony drug arrests that we ended up busting. They've been getting pretty good amounts off the street here lately. All of them together, really. Derek Adams, he's been getting some. Josh has been getting a lot with Terry, so they're hard at it. So we've assisted on 1 car chase, I believe, and they ended up getting that lady. She wrecked out. Don't understand why she did what she did, but she come off the hill up by the hospital in a Dodge Charger and come toward town and was just hauling butt. One of the deputies got after her. She come around and went through Exxon and went all the way back south, went down 124, started shutting her lights on and off, and she ended up wrecking out. So can't see without your lights on whenever you're running from the police. So, but that's kind of a valuable lesson for that young lady. I've been kind of milling some things around here lately, and I was off during 14 days with quarantine for the COVID and all that. And I've been thinking about it for a long time, guys, and comes a time whenever you've been at this job for a long time. Okay? I've been at it over 20 years. And sometimes it comes a time you just gotta call it quits. So I pulled the trigger on my retirement, and can't work after November the 1st. So talked to Dina. My last day is gonna be October 21st. It's gonna be the last day, last pay period of the month and everything. Guys, it's been a long ride for me, and I appreciate y'all letting me be the chief here to end my career here in the city where I grew up, went to school, and appreciate you guys. But comes time you just gotta hang in there.
You came in and talked to me the other day, and you talked about me saying that here tonight, and we had a really good visit, and I appreciate all the service you've done, starting out there at the county and then Fairfield Bay, and then ending up here. And I appreciate you coming to and talking to me. And got with Dina and found when your last day would be. So I let you mention that tonight, and we'll start next week. We'll advertise and start interviewing, and try by the middle of October maybe have a decision. It's been a pleasure. You've done worked hard for us. We appreciate it very much. I know it's a hard decision.
Yeah, it is.
But like I say, it's that hard work won't hurt you, and stress. After about 20 years of that, I get up and go to work, but I don't think I have people maybe shooting at me every day. So it's a tough job you're doing, and you've done a great job.
Health-wise, I have to make that decision. So
Sure.
But I do appreciate it, guys. Love y'all, and I'll still be around, still be living here in the city. But anytime you need me, I'll be there to help you if you ever need anything.
Well, you got another council meeting, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep, got another council meeting.
Well, thank you very much, John. Well, we appreciate it. We give you a hand. Ben, anything for John, or like I say, we got another meeting to talk to him. Appreciate everything that you do and have done. Like I say, you'll still be around. Brings us to water and sewer. Will Hinchy is, I think, under the last day of a quarantine. He might have been next to somebody that may have had it. I don't think they had it, but he'll be out. He'll be back Monday morning. I think you got the water report. I'll read it. Report to the City Council, September the 10th, ladies and gentlemen. The chemical cost for actual chemicals used for August was $10,169.70. The total gallons pumped were 63,527,000. The total gallons treated were 76,606 gallons. This came out to be approximately 13 cents for chemicals per 1,000 gallons of treated water. The water loss for the period ending August 17, 2020 was at 29.172%. Denard's loss was at 21.509%. And Burnt Ridge's water loss was down to 13.568%. So apparently they got a lot of things fixed. We had a pre-construction meeting. I was at that meeting with CWB engineers, M&E Construction. They were the auto read meter contractors for the installation. M&E was. And Henner Utility, they're the supplier of all the parts and materials for the auto read meter project. Work's going to begin on that project September the 30th. They'll be starting in Denard area first, and they'll be working from out furthest from the city in towards Clinton. There'll be M&E trucks in the yards of customers. They're going to be changing out meters. The customers may be out of water 5 to 15 minutes while they're changing out the meter. They'll do everything at the meter. They spend a lot of time at one time. In other words, they're not going to change out a whole bunch of meters and then come back next week and think they're going to do everything. Change it out, do the dirt work, shape it, whatever, so you won't be running over a lot of debris with your lawnmower, etc. So they won't have to go back to do any cleanup. They are projecting the completion date will be March 29th, 2021. The industrial rate is in effect, and it's going to be reflected on the bills mailed out September 30th. If a customer uses more than 100,000 gallons a month and wants to be on the industrial rate, they'll need to sign a form stating that. If you have any questions, stop by or call him. Call Will on his cell phone. He asked if it needed for him to call in tonight. I said I didn't think so. Y'all have his number. I certainly do. You can call him. It's signed Will Hinchy. So that's all I have from the water department. But that meeting went pretty well. They seem like they'll get in and get it done. So, that brings us anything on water.
I got a question on that. I'm not clear on that industrial rate. So if somebody decides they want on the industrial rate, they get on it and lock in on it for a certain time. Can they come back and forth?
I don't. He said I can't answer that. Just ask Will. But I don't think it's going to be.
Well, I think if you look at my bill this month, well, it looks like I'm going to hit 100,000. Maybe I should get on the.
They put me on it.
Yeah.
I think
You
he
couldn't go
does.
back and forth.
Yeah.
He didn't think you could go back and forth.
Yeah.
You need to start off there and,
And stay there.
To answer your question, I don't know
yearly, big
exactly if
industrial or
it's quarterly or.
what he said last
It
time.
could get to be a problem if it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Zoning, oh, sorry, Tim Barnes.
I just wanted to get some clarification, and you may not know where you should just go back. But when we looked at our ordinance, and we talked about our 10-year plan, and we talked about rate increases and things, and looking at whether or not we needed to do that rate increase each year, I was hoping to have a report tonight about whether or not, looking at the water department's revenues since January the 1st, where they are, and to make a determination, do they need to go ahead and do that 5% increase for the next year, or are they okay where we are right now, and can do another 12 months and then look at it again and see where we are and what they need. And
Right.
I just don't want to, I don't want people's rates, and 5% on the base and all that kind of stuff is not a lot on that, but just the fact that we've been, and it's no fault of the water department guys there, just being inconsistent meter readings over the last 6 months, and people are not settled on you know, on their budgeting for their water bills. So I was just hoping maybe we could get something more in-depth thing to come back to the council so that we don't have the public thinking, well, they're raising our rates, but what are we seeing for it? You know, I'd like to see like that phase 2 plan, all right, we're gonna have this money and it's gonna, you know, potentially generate this much revenue, which will go toward, you know, what our next step possibly could be. So if you could look into that,
Yeah,
Richard,
for
you
sure,
know,
and then like I
'cause
say,
you're-
anytime too, come down there to the water department, we'll.
And it's fine, yeah, and I've been just
But I think
crazy,
that-
I've been crazy busy too. I mean, it's entered my brain, but it's never had enough time to pick up the phone, but I know Will's busy and they're busy still working on dealing with the highway project and stuff.
That highway project's been pretty rough.
Yeah, and another thing, I think, and I'm not gonna tell anybody how to run their business, but I think it would be real prudent, just some advice, because a lot of people, get upset when they call the water department because they have issues about bills or this, that, and the other. And it's no reflection on the office ladies, but I think there needs to be some kind of a protocol or procedure in that office about when they get certain types of questions in there, that they really, you know, it's like me, if somebody asks me a question I don't know, I tell them I don't know.
Right.
But I'll get with somebody who, I think they need to set something in there, because I think sometimes, they're given some advice or some this, that, and the other, and they don't know what the answer is, but it's a lot easier to say, I don't know, but here's the person I can get that answer or question to, because it just seems like it's been real repetitive over the last year or so that I'm hearing, you know, they get an answer when they talk to one of the ladies in the office, but that really wasn't what the problem was when they found out and kind of dug into it. So I really would just like a person that's got the knowledge and the responsibility of answering those questions when they're asked, rather than someone who really doesn't know what the answer is, just to say something to somebody so they can hang the phone up. And I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but that's, you know, perception is reality, and that's some of the reality that's out there, that there's really not great customer service at our water department, you know. And so I think that's something that really needs to be addressed, you know, upcoming and maybe for, you know,
Sure.
2021 and something to focus on customer
Immediately,
service.
sure, and also maybe as early as, you know, for the next meeting to say, yeah, let me give you this number, call, you know.
But I think it's something that would be real easy for Will to work out internally and stuff, because I don't think he gets that kind of feedback. And I don't think he knows that's out there, but it is, it's out there.
Okay.
Back to the water rate, is that not November when that goes into effect, or is it?
I think it is. I'll even ask.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to have a
5%.
report before that rate,
Yeah.
just to see where we were, so, you know.
It's supposed to be quarterly, but
Yes,
we gotta get more.
so he may be here in October before, but the rate increase will go in effect October 1, so.
November,
this
I think.
current- Yeah, November, so we have a little bit of time and all that.
So we need to,
Well, I think that if you're going to not go forward with the rate increase that's kind of already in place by ordinance, you're gonna need more time than maybe even today, because you're gonna have to get permission from your bond.
I think that there was,
So-
I think that 5% was pretty much the first year they were gonna do it and, you know, assess it.
I think, honestly, I think you probably passed the date for this year or for 2021. And maybe if that's the plan you want to come up with, we ought to find out what our critical dates are and give them permission and things like that.
the
as
whole,
we're going to.
you know, the whole thing is 5% last year was not 5%. Or,
It
you know,
was break even
So-
plus 5%.
So,
It-
and I agree with Sean, we need to really, if 5% is gonna be 5%, all of us sitting around this table need to know that that's what it is. It's only gonna be 5%, and on the base, it's gonna be, you know, it will raise your bill this much, rather than, oh, we got a deficit here, so, you know, we gotta shift
Yeah.
money here or there to cover it, so.
Yeah, they meet every Tuesday before this meeting too.
If we don't understand it, then we can't tell our constituents.
Well, all you gotta do is go back and find the ordinance and read it.
Right, I know, but I mean, it was at 5%, and that's.
Yeah,
The
it was.
first one wasn't, but
The first, yeah.
it was the.
Every year after it was.
Every year after.
But the whole deal we said back in March was, let's look at the first quarter and see if we really need it to be
Need it
where
all
it's
that.
at. When March came and it went to like July, and we still ain't really where we at with it. How much has it increased this year? And how much, what was our projections and what is the reality where we're at with it?
That's our fault, because we haven't been going to meetings. I went to a couple of meetings, but I will be at more water board meetings, 'cause that's where you're gonna get the answers, and then we can tell the
And
city.
when Will always says, go in there anytime too.
Right.
And like I said, they've been,
And I've been to some.
this Highway
Yeah.
65
Yeah.
north has been his
Last couple
COVID.
of nights.
Yeah.
It's been a disaster.
Well, we can ask.
But Richard, I will say this, I talked to a person today, and they're on a different water, they're on a different water association, different community, but that community has the smart meters and stuff, and they were talking about some things, and she had a potential leak on her water bill and stuff, and there were a couple of people talking about, well, it happened to me, and I didn't know about it until I got my water bill.
Right.
And this lady said, no, my water department I got a call from my water department that day.
I think it's gonna be very helpful. I got a call this week about my meters underground, my bill, I think it's too high. I think I'm supposed to call a plumber, I just go out there and pump the water out, and it's not, okay, and I called her, it's like, no, it's not, you don't have a leak, you're okay. It was not, but she was really stressing out. That is gonna be a major.
So, I mean, she knew immediately whether or not to get people on her side.
I think the auto read meter is gonna be very good for that.
Yeah.
And like, you don't go a month and say, hey, you just.
Yeah, I wish I had mine installed 3 months ago. When I had a water leak, my water bill was $150. Yeah.
Don't say that too.
Anything else on the water? But yeah, I will address those.
And that's
Specifically get back with you. Excuse me. That brings us, we're through the water, so it brings us to zoning department, Tim Clark.
There's a letter of intent from the River Company in front of y'all. I emailed it to you. I think everybody knows where that is. There's a strip of property, starts at Highway 65, goes up the hill, down the hill, and I think years ago they rezoned that commercial, half of it, up the hill. It goes right behind the building and stops, and the rest of it is residential. They have added a financial division up there, and they've hired a CPA, and they're gonna be doing more tax work, things like that. So their office building is maxed out as far as their employees. So they're gonna need to either build an addition or a separate building behind that. And so they want, I think there's a total of 5.44 acres total, and they want to go ahead and rezone the second half of that to C1 commercial property. The zoning commission has reviewed it, and due to the expansion of the business, the addition of more jobs for the area, they are recommending to the city council that you approve that and rezone it commercial. So.
You need a motion and a second?
From y'all, yeah, y'all have to approve that.
I'll entertain a motion second to approve the recommendation of zoning. I'll make sure everyone that's good.
You get that, Dina?
I got it all, ready to vote?
Well, we got a motion second. I can't hear, I'm sorry. Any other discussion?
We need to go collect and buy you some hair.
Man, I'm trying to read his lips, and he's got a mask on.
You got that, Dina? I got it all.
Treasurer, please call the roll.
I didn't wait 9
I
I mean, that situation's a little different because it's pretty remote up there.
It don't
but-
go far back there till it falls off.
Yeah, but normal circumstances, I mean, y'all talk to the landowners beside and,
I have talked to both of them, and I also got them to sign a piece of paper that says they have no problem with it.
Anything else? I'll ask for a roll call.
Barnes,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Warren.
Yes. We did half of this a few years ago, half of that up there, part of that.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah.
You did what?
Zone.
Zoned that in a few years ago. That was part of it.
I was gonna say it's residential then,
The other thing is, like Richard said earlier, the hangar project right down here, it's a 100 by 100 metal airplane hangar that we have received the plans on it, got the plans Tuesday, and I've reviewed them, fire chiefs reviewed them, and right before this meeting, the zoning commission reviewed them. And so, starting in the morning, I'll issue them a permit and an inspection schedule, and they can get going.
You need a.
something else, but
No, I'm just letting y'all know, and the only other thing, we'll have another building project coming up. I had a guy come in, a contractor, the bridge right by O's, right as you go across it, look to the left, there's that little flat piece of ground right there. And I know that's been for sale a long time. And they're going to they're planning on it. I haven't seen any plans yet. The guy just came in and said, what do I need to do? And it's a 1,400 square foot office facility.
Right. Almost stories on place.
Yeah. So, we should be getting some plans for that in the next week or so.
That is, yeah, that storage unit, everything's good on.
Yeah, we got that taken care of with the variance for the fence, so that's all been taken care of. That's all I got.
Okay, any other thing for Mr. Clark?
Just tell them Moncho, no, Moncho.
I missed that place.
I know, I love that. Rock and Jonathan
What are you
closing?
talking about?
Yes.
It's like, oh, so nobody bought it or anything,
Still for sale.
Everybody thinks that's where the city is. I mean, they think that's part of it, you know. Oh.
There's an opportunity for somebody.
There
to
is an
buy it.
opportunity.
Okay,
anything you heard on the billboard? They working on anything?
Yeah, I have,
Something.
I did get a call from him, and we kinda went over briefly what he's wanting to do. And what he's wanting to do, I don't see a problem with, so he said he's about a month out from really doing anything on that, so I just told him to bring me a set of plans and we'll take a look at it and get him started.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. That brings us down to old business ordinance street cut, second reading. I'm just gonna, do this second reading by title only. We talked about last month. I hope to have a copy of the permit. Well, all Kim and I've got pretty much done except putting the prices in from $2,000 to $2,000, so I'll have that for the third reading, well before the third reading. But at this time, I'll entertain a motion second to place this on the second reading by title only. This is the street cutting ordinance that we're trying to get a handle on, so somebody comes up and cuts the street, and we don't have a situation of this department, the water department, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll entertain a motion second.
I'll make a motion, we read
on
the second reading.
Second.
Motion second. Any other discussion? I'll call for a vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
That title is an ordinance for the city of Clinton, Arkansas to increase the bond required for the street excavations. Second, old business is an ordinance and nuisance code amending the relationship for vehicles. I just want to place this on the second reading also. We'll do the third and final reading next month. I'll entertain a motion to place on the second reading by title only.
And I make a motion that we place it on
I'll
the second
second
reading
it.
by total.
Any other discussion? I'll call for a vote.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
That
Did you get councilman
Well, that brings us down to new business. This, I have an ordinance leaving the millage. By title only, no.
Can you read the title? They were laughing over there about something, but I don't know.
I'll read it. It's an ordinance of the city of Clinton, Arkansas to amend the provisions in the nuisance code relating to irreparable vehicles. I thought Dina was going to. We read it last
I
time.
think that ordinance has been a nuisance enough, so let's just look in.
Make sure your car is running. Brings us down to new business.
Or you suggest we put it on the third reading? Finish it tonight?
Get rid of that nuisance and put it on the third reading.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
let's just do it next month. Finally, this is an ordinance leaving the millage. I recommend, I talked to y'all about this, about leaving it 2.9. I don't really want to change that. I think we're doing okay. I think a meal equates to $3,200 to $4,200. I don't think it's worth something that Mr. Pistol had talked about, getting rid of city taxes on that, and if we could replace it with some other
Yeah.
money. But
We roll it back to zero or something and get some
Right.
sales tax money to make up for it.
Yeah,
That way
if
it's more
that is
fair.
an issue, I will read this. I'll entertain a motion in a second to put this on the first reading.
Make a motion to put on the
I'll
first
second
reading.
it.
I'll read this. An ordinance levying the village at 2.9 mil real and personal property tax for general operations of the city of Clinton, Arkansas, and for other purposes. Whereas the city of Clinton, Arkansas is required to pass an ordinance setting forth a millage rate for property taxes to be collected for the city of Clinton, Arkansas in the next year. And whereas the city of Clinton, Arkansas desires that property taxes for the year 2020 be set at the same level and assessed and collected in 2021, whereas such an ordinance must be passed and provided to the Van Buren County assessors and collectors offices by the time of the Van Buren County Quorum Court's November meeting. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, Section 1. The City of Clinton, Arkansas hereby levies the assessed a 2.9 mil property tax on real property and personal property in Van Buren County as prescribed by law for the year 2020, which tax shall be collected by the Van Buren County, Arkansas. I'll ask for a vote. Discussion? What?
No.
You have to bellow for me to hear.
You know, vote before,
Okay.
yeah.
Motion second. I'll ask for a vote.
I make a motion.
Yeah,
Bradley.
I think
We
we
go.
did some stuff.
We've already done that, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we okay?
We're a little behind.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yeah.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Brings us down to public comments. Do we have any public comments? Chief Webb, no school comment. Also, that is done, we'll go to mayor's comments. I just had a few. One is I appreciate the work of John Willoughby over the last few years. I appreciate you coming in and talking to me and respect your decision. I think you made the right decision for you, what we talked about, so thank you for your service. Also, reminding everybody, I'll be talking, or next week, be working pretty hard on the census. We've got this stretch run the last little bit of this month. I think on Monday, we're gonna work with some of the Hispanic community, making sure we get the vote out. We're gonna talk to some folks up there, process and plan. And also through the week, different groups of churches. And if you know of anyone, matriarchs and patriarchs of family, just go to them. Nothing beats going and talking to someone. I know Philip Ellis is going door to door, but there may be someone that's not been counted or just not turned it in. If you wonder about that, go talk to them. Use an individual basis. We need an accurate count as good as we can. It's gonna be a tough year. A lot of cities are having trouble. Mayor Ellenball, Batesville's having a tough time. And so don't forget that. Our budget, I think maybe the week of the 21st and 25th of this month, I'd like to meet. Be a good time to have Will in there and talk about that, 5%, see where we're at in real numbers. I think that we mentioned the Rumble on the River went well. The Chuck Wagon fee went really well, very receptive. Wasn't too many there. It was spread out good, so that rain may have helped us with that. But they did donate over $2,000, about 400 people, 4 or 5. And that's astounding. That's in tips, and 100% will go to the senior citizen centers here, Shirley, and Scotland. So thank you to all the churches and all y'all that work, and the folks that just cook desserts and things. Bo Collins, American Catfish. I mean, that was donated some money. You had a lot of fish. It went really well. Thank y'all very much for doing that. I'd mentioned that we talked about that, about the brush. We're going to start grinding some of that up. They brought that up. I think we're in October looking for a roadkill on Saturday the 3rd, the roadkill cook-off again. I think Tony Soyano was interested in that. And on the 4th, right after that, is a family day that one of the Baptist associations, they're going to be down at the park. I think there's some singing and stuff, and that might be a good thing to plan around for your family. Also, the governor's going to be here Monday on the Children's Advocacy Association. We're opening the Alliance. We're opening up a new chapter of that in Van Buren County, which is very good for this county. It's an intervention for kids that may have been abused or whatever, and they can be interviewed right there. We'll have an office in Van Buren County. It's a shame we have to have something like that, but boy, it's good that we do. And it's Governor will be in town Monday on that, so thank you very much for that. The county putting that together, that was a big thing for this county. So good job, Van Buren County. Also, I think tomorrow's Patriots Day. Remember 9/11. So, anything else? Not, I'll entertain a motion, a second to adjourn.
Make a motion. Second.
Second. We stand adjourned. Thank you.